This happened about 3 years ago to my friend who doesn't have an account, so I offered to post it for her. It was a hot summer afternoon in 2012, and my friend Shay and her family were on their way home from a morning at church. Their plans for the afternoon were simple: go to McDonald's and then go for a nature walk. So in they piled, and while her dad ordered, they picked a table. "I can serve whoever's next," the cashier called. Next in line was a man, maybe mid-20s. He was fairly tall, coming in at approximately 6'3" or 6'4", with short brown hair and green eyes. There was nothing noticeably creepy about the man at all. He turned around, so Dad said to him, "I guess that's you." Everything about that man changed as he started yelling at Dad. "You think I'm stupid? Yeah? You want to settle this outside? I know what I'm doing. Don't you frickin' dare tell me what to do." "Whoa, calm down," Dad said. "Sorry if I upset you." The man moved forward, still glaring at Dad as he ordered his food. Now, on a side note, my mom is a warrior. In fact, so bad that she wouldn't even let me play in the woods right off of the side of our house for fears of bears eating me. So needless to say, she was pretty freaked out. After Dad came back with our food, it was a constant, "Drew, he's looking at us. Drew, he is staring at you like he means murder." Now that she was freaking out, obviously, her kids were going to as well. My friend, her older sister Ashley, and her brother John were all pretty nervous, whereas her uncle with Down syndrome, that lived with them, wasn't done with his food and didn't want to leave right then. So we waited for a few minutes while he finished, still keeping an eye on the man. Soon, however, to our relief, the man simply got up and left. He was gone for about 3 minutes when he returned with a dark blue bag and sat back down and began rummaging through it. Well, you can imagine my mom. "Drew, I think he has a gun. He might have a knife too. Drew, let's get out of here." Finally, we were all packed up and ready to forget all of this on our nature walk. So we exited the building, but then guess who gets up and follows us? However, since I was walking in front, I didn't notice him at first. I turned around to ask my dad a question, and I saw the man pull something out of his bag and reach around my dad's neck. I screamed, "Dad!" And he turned around, grabbing the guy's arm and shoving him back. "Dude, what is your problem?" my father shouted at the man. By now, people were starting to stare. As my dad and this freak were in the middle of an epic stare down, my sister and I ran into the building and yelled for someone to call the police. Now, my dad isn't a huge guy, coming in at maybe 5'9" or 5'10", but he's a pretty strong dude. So he told the guy, "If you want to fight, you go ahead. I will defend myself, and you won't like it." The man said, "What? You're a 55-year-old man, and you want to challenge me? A strong 20-year-old? You don't know what I could do to you." My dad was only actually like 34, and he didn't even look that old. While this was all happening, 2 older women had come out and were trying to comfort us, while the other onlookers laughed. Needless to say, the police ended up showing up, and we all survived. We didn't get to go on our walk, but I'm glad my dad made it out okay. I don't know what happened to that man after the incident, but I had some nightmares about him for a while afterwards. You never know what could have happened. My family has been living in the United States since the year 2000, but was originally from India. In 2009, when I was 13 and my older sister was 15, my mom took us on vacation back to India to visit a couple of different cities. One of the places was my grandmother's and cousin's house. My grandmother lives in a village about a 3-hour drive southwest of New Delhi. Very isolated and slum-like, but better than most slums, as it still has running water, electricity, and basic infrastructure. My mother originally planned to stay for about 2 weeks, and then travel to Mumbai to visit my dad's side of the family. While there, me and my sister usually played with our cousins outside the house, around the streets, corner stores, and around nearby areas. Maybe 4 or 5 days in, one of the storekeepers we frequently went to buy snacks from told my sister and me, in a quiet and friendly manner, that there isn't much to do in the village here, and we, our family, should leave and go elsewhere. We thought he was being modest and considerate, so we didn't really acknowledge it. 2 days later, at one of my cousin's houses in the village, my uncle's friend who was there told my sister that our family should cut our stay short and leave because it's unsanitary here, and we should spend more time in Mumbai and see all the attractions. At the time, both me and my sister found it pretty funny that people kept telling us to leave. The next day, at a large dinner with family and friends, the family friend of one of our cousins told both my sister and later my mother that we should cut our stay here and head to Mumbai because accommodations are poor here and Mumbai has more to offer us. After the dinner, we told our mother that people had been telling us to leave since a couple of days ago. My grandmother and mother started packing, and we took the bus out of the village around noontime. My sister and I were both upset because we were leaving earlier than planned. But while leaving, my grandmother told us that we should visit other places and cut our stay here short, as the big cities will be even more fun. I never asked about these incidents until we flew back to the US from India. After asking my mother a few months after, apparently what had happened was, the son of the man who was the head of the village, Ajit, what the locals called him, was suspected to be a serial rapist, kidnapper, and human trafficker. Ajit owned a textile factory and had a lot of people in the village working for him in the factory. The villagers suspected him of being involved in a string of kidnapping of young girls in and around the village and near the outskirts of farms, because he had a reputation of being a pervert and a stalker. Word got out that he had set his eyes on my sister after seeing her outside. He was apparently talking to various people about her in a very sexualized way, and asking people if they knew her, where she lived, where she was from, etc. My sister and I also have fairer skin than most of the locals, which is a huge deal in India, because fair skin on women means more attractive by social standards. There were rumors that Ajit would drag girls into his factory's transport trucks and take them to his factory's compound, hide them, and rape them, before selling them off as wives to traffickers or to other villages or to brothels as prostitutes. I have spoken to my cousins about this last year, and they said that so far, 4 girls are known to have disappeared in and around the village, but there are probably more unaccounted for. The scary thing is that while we played outside every day, the transport trucks are a frequent sight near the main roads because they transport goods in and out of the village on a daily basis. One of the theories my cousin and grandparents had was the reason he had hesitated to grab my sister was because he had learned that our family was from the United States and not local to India or the village. Hence, the news of the disappearance of a foreigner from the United States would cause more of an outcry, and the Indian government would usually launch a bigger and more detailed investigation out of respect to the United States. Hence, Ajit probably wasn't sure if he wanted to take on such a huge risk and draw attention to himself by kidnapping my sister. I've told this story to friends at school before, and people always ask why Ajit never got probed or any investigation launched on him. The reason is because in rural India, it is so corrupt that his connections in the village to his father, who was village head and has political ties with New Delhi, and the money he has would dictate the outcome of any sort of local investigation. The Indian government does not have the resources or time to handle every missing persons case because of the huge population of India, especially in poorer places, so complaining to the federal or provincial government is useless. Another question I get is why my family and friends didn't just tell my sister, my mother, or me straight up that someone was after my sister. The reason is because most people don't want to badmouth Ajit. A lot of people have family and friends working for Ajit, and badmouthing him would cause people to lose their jobs, which would be a huge deal as there aren't many good jobs in a small village. In addition, people like Ajit in India usually have ways of making people they don't like very miserable. My sister's version of the story is even more scary because she says she remembers seeing a man staring at her from parked trucks, and even says there was an instance of a man trying to call her over while she was playing with us. My sister was pretty spooked after hearing this event from my mother, but I really doubt she saw or heard what she claimed, because me and my cousins would have all noticed it too, as we were all together. I always thought it was bullshit that traffickers would kidnap others randomly on the streets, but apparently crimes like these happen frequently. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so you can catch all of my future content. I released another video a few hours ago, so if you might have missed that one, I'll have a link on the screen, as well as in the description. I've also uploaded a couple videos on Urmaker over the past few days, so if you haven't subscribed over there, you don't want to miss out, so make sure you go do that. I'll have a link on the screen as well, and in the description. And just remember, it's always scarier if it's true.